going to discuss the next step that I feel is so important to reading, and that is sitting. Yes, teaching your child how to sit. And you may say, well, when do I do that? But let's think about it. Something that many parents don't use anymore, that were used in the past that really promoted sitting and listening skills, was the high chair. I know that there's been some studies that the high chair is dangerous, but now companies have put out what they call a low chair that attaches to a regular chair that has, I believe, has been okayed by the powers that be. But I know when I go into different homes and the child that is able to sit in a high chair / low chair is able to pay attention. The child that is walking around and takes his time and doesn't have a social routine as far as eating is concerned has difficulty paying attention. These are some things that we can actually avoid just by teaching our child how to sit. And if you've seen my last video, that's why I was talking about the rocking chair, because even then we were talking about teaching your child how to sit, whether I've said it or not. That is one of the steps. And so, when do you say, how do I teach sitting? Again, the high chair / low chair. When the child is eating. This is also good for finicky eaters as well, because they learn a routine. They learn the rhythm, but that will be another episode. But right now we're talking about just sitting. So you buy your child a sitting or a high chair or low chair when it's age appropriate, and even before that, I would like to say, well, what is age appropriate? But you can, when you're feeding your child, initially if they get the fudgy fudgies or they get quippy quippy, they have different seats that you can put your child in. And you can also, which I think is also very good, is to have your child sit on your lap during mealtime. Because what he or she is finding is that everyone is sitting to eat. And that's a normal thing for us all to sit at the table. And that is a social situation, again, where your child is getting sensory input, your child is getting routine, and your child is getting exposure. And he's listening to your conversation. Because one of the developmental steps that we look at is your child following the flow of the conversation? And what you'll finally see is that, or what you'll see intermittently, is that your child will nod, or your child will do something that you were talking about. And this is really fun because like, oh my gosh, he actually or she actually understands what we are talking about. So the routine of sitting and eating builds reading skills. And so what I want you to do is just to take that time to notice that how important it is. Because when your child is learning to read, one thing they need to do is be able to look at the pictures, look at the words. And prior to doing that, they need to learn how to sit. You can sit in the bed. You can sit sometimes on the floor. And this is also very important. Floor activity, where you are interacting and sitting with your child. I am not promoting that you put your child in a high chair and you are distancing yourself away from him. I am promoting that when you are feeding him, that it's done in the high chair. Because what happens then is you are very close to them. They are looking at your eyes. They are regarding your face. They are understanding the motions. Again, as I said in my other video, they are inferring information. So something as simple as sitting in a high chair, and you know you've seen all those commercials where all the baby gets involved in all the food. Right now, so many parents are worried about being clean. My suggestion, get a tablecloth, put it under the high chair, and go for it. Your child needs the sensory input to feel, to start feeding itself, to grab that spoon, because it sees that the spoon is connected to the food and wants to put it in its mouth. But what you're doing, as far as reading is concerned, is building sequencing skills. They understand that there are steps. They're not saying, I put the spoon in my hand, I put the spoon in my mouth. What they're saying is, oh my gosh, this is how this works. And innately, what they're doing is learning sequencing. They're learning attending. And I know I repeat these words many times, but these are the precursors, or these are the steps that help your child to become a very good reader. And as I would like to say, it's not important. I shouldn't say I don't care, but I really don't. I don't care if it's on the floor. One thing I will say that really has been upsetting me as an educator is that the use of videos. Yes, we are supposed to promote technology. I want you to understand, I'd like you to understand, that videos are supplemental to you. They are not primary. You are the primary person that teaches your child interaction and social skills. The thing is about a video is that it's a cold environment. Yes, when you're on the train or yes, when you're in the car, it may be difficult as far as your child using crayons. But what happens as far as crayons are concerned? If you take away crayons, then you're taking away the motion of pincer grasp and you're taking away the motion of learning how to hold a pencil. And then that goes into writing skills, but that is another episode. But what I am trying to show you is that all of these things, if we take them away, then we still have to deal with them later. And instead of your child progressively learning these things, as so many researchers have said prior to, are important, just remember, videos are secondary, not primary. Yes, when you're in the car, yes, when you're on the train, but even still, when you're in the train, should you be listening to your music and your child listening to a video? Or should you have a book out in front of you? Should you have something, and even if younger, shouldn't you be talking to your child about what's happening on the train? Where are you going? Why are you on the train? Why are you in the car? Again, this is another way to build vocabulary. Vocabulary goes along with reading. So this is the end of the episode because I just want you to get little quirks and think about these steps that are so important to the reading skills. Thank you, and again next time, Michelle Greenwich Joyner. Thank you very much.